Alright, what is up good folks? Good morning. You are watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're at the Polderbaan for a day of arrivals, at least for the upcoming hours. It's going to be arrivals. At the moment this is the only runway being used for arrivals. Our first airplane to arrive is an Embraer 175 arriving from Hamburg. It is a beautiful day over here at Schiphol today. On the way over here I did get some rain droplets on my windshield, but that little shower was just the only shower over the Netherlands. It was isolated, it is gone, and as you can see, gorgeous weather. The sun is out. Mostly blue skies at the moment. Hey there folks, we have a little bit of wind blowing from the southwest if I'm not mistaken, more west than south. And the first queen is also minutes away. Before that, we are going to start off with the first heavy of the show, Qatar Airways Flight 275 arriving from Doha, a 7878 Dreamliner. Underway now for 6 hours and 19 minutes, 10 years old, first flight July 2013. Speedbird flight 430 behind it, Airbus A388 arriving from London Heathrow. Unless unforeseen showers form over the North Sea, we are going to stay dry for the upcoming hours. Not expecting any precipitation today. The Crow family also back at Polderbaan, as you guys can see. Beautiful morning light, as you guys can see, it is yellowy. And in Diedrich traffic jam. There were a couple of accidents on highways around Amsterdam this morning. So actually a few traffic jams. One of them, the A9 highway from Alkmaar to Amstelveen. Thought there were a couple of lanes closed off. So even on quiet Fridays you can still get traffic jams then. A very good morning to everybody who is tuned in already. I saw a lot of activity in the chat already before going live. Forgive me if I am not able to greet you all personally, but one and all, welcome to the show. Hope you guys are doing well. There are a couple of 747s underway. Oh, wow. Where is it? Damn it. There is a little bird over here. Where is it? Little bird just a meter away from me, but in the same color as the grass, so wasn't able to pick up on it. Sitting on a little branch of the whatever it is that is growing here in the grass. It was just a meter or so away from me. Rick says already started without you. Yeah, that's a good thing. Always do that. Make sure that it is nice and gezellig as quickly as possible. Now you can see a little bit of hill over here still from yesterday. If I walk around, you could probably hear it. Makes that sound that you get when you're walking over snow. Right, well, let's see. The 747 is now flying base. Looks like it's going to be number five? Yeah, 5. Two airplanes visible already. The first one, an Embraer 195 from Lot, arriving from Warsaw. The second one is a 777-200 arriving from Johannesburg. And I had to look a little bit for the message. There it is. Thank you so much, Edward, for just becoming a member. Welcome to the lounge. Thank you for your support. The custom emojis now at your disposal. Use them whenever you feel fit, whenever you see fit. Thank you so much for your support, Edward, and welcome to the club. Splendid. It's the Splendid. Excellent. Now, I'm also getting a notification from PayPal. Thank you so much, Ulrich, who says, Danke für deine großartige Streams. Grüße aus dem Ruhrgebiet, Uli. Uli, thank you so much. Vielen Dank. Es freut mich, dass du auch die Streams schön findet. Vielen Dank für deine PayPal donation. Alright, triple time. This is KLM flight 592. Arriving from Johannesburg, 777-200 ER, underway for 10 hours, 48 minutes. This particular airplane, 19 years old, first flight March 2004. Gutes Deutsch. Das ist Quatsch. Man hört gleich, dass ich Holländer bin. Aber ich verstehe es trotzdem ziemlich gut. Aber das Sprechen, das Produzieren ist immer das Schwierige. Or as I was just saying, I understand a lot of German, but it's always more difficult to produce it, which is always the case with foreign languages. Russell is trying to keep up. Fly into the light. Go beyond where any crow has gone before. Well, it's clear. Means that we can also see departures from 24 going to the north. 737 from KLM, most likely. All right. EasyJet A320 arriving from London Luton, and in the far left the next airplane, Embraer 190 arriving from London City. EasyJet flight 22513. And just below it is another airplane coming in from the right. And also, let's not forget the firefighters. Yeah, look away. Now they start sounding their horn. While Round Streams celebrating 2 months of membership says, hey boy, good day, South Australia, love your streams. Good day to you too, mate. And thank you for your kind words and thank you for your continued support, mate. Hope you will keep enjoying the streams. I do the best I can to make that so. Glad you're enjoying it so far, and I hope, of course, that everybody is. Right. KLM flight 982 is up next. Embraer 190. I spy with my little eye a Queen of the Sky that is behind it. Quick look to see if this is Captain Willie or not. If it isn't, back to the 747 it is going to be then. Well, no. Right, first Queen of the day. It is Saudia Cargo flight 933. It's a 747-400 arriving from Jeddah. The airplane has been flying now for 5 hours and 49 minutes to get here. Has been flying in total now for 28 years. The first flight of this airplane was in January 1995. January 1995. So that was first year in high school for me. Let's see, behind it, A319 from Lufthansa, flight 988, arriving from Frankfurt. But first, the first Queen. Also hearing a siren. Well, not the loudest of landings. It was a pretty landing. Very controlled, very subdued a little. But look at those reflections, beautiful. Never grows old, does it? Alright, let's quickly turn back. Our next airplane is the Lufthansa A319 arriving from Frankfurt. And meanwhile, a big thank you to John, who just now gifted the membership. And I see that Martin was the recipient of said membership. Thank you so much for your gifted membership there, John, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, Martin. Don't forget to say thank you. Enjoy the custom emojis now at your disposal, Martin. Now, as you can see, there is a little bit of wind. It's not a lot. Before the next air. Hey, duckies! Look at that, a pair of ducks. It's been a while. Also a quick rundown of the current status quo in terms of traffic coming this way. Heavies. The Saudia just landed. There is two more 747s are inbound. 747-8 from Cathay Pacific expected in half an hour or so. This one, Atlas Air, another 747-8. Okay, arriving in 3/4 of an hour or so, and the Emirates A380 expected 10 past 12:40. In Dutch we would say 12 past half one, but I don't think that is a proper way of saying it in English. Airbus A330-200 arriving from Vancouver, Canada. Now, mind you, I do believe that at a later stage this morning, the center runway will open up as a secondary runway for arrivals. So I'm not sure if we are going to see that 747-8 now flying over Germany. As soon as it crosses the border, we can have a look at Omgevingsinfo Schiphol, see which runway it is going to be assigned to. And indeed, a lot of butter remarks regarding this landing. They are butter machines. 18 years old, by the way, this airplane. First flight was in July 2005. Oh, and I see already that the first airplane to center is coming in. So we're not going to see the 747 that is flying over German airspace land on this runway, but we can still see it quite well. In fact, my XA60 has 800 times digital zoom, so we can get it all pixelated for you guys if you wish so. Otherwise, in terms of the weather, well, let's do a refresh. It's probably more of the same. 2 degrees temperature right now. The wind, right, that is 9 knots from the southwest. Well, few clouds. Runway usage, this is confirmed now. And this is the satellite image of the Netherlands. Right, well, there we go. And as you can see, the wind is coming from over the North Sea. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So we're good in that respect. Air Baltic A220. Flight 857 arriving from Tallinn. And the Turkish A330 going to center the first airplane. Going to center flight 1951 arriving from Istanbul. Right, ladies and gentlemen, members, get out your play emoji because it is that time again, playtime. It's also playtime for the duckies in the water. Let's enable digital zoom 800 times. This is going to get freaky. Right, yeah. Obviously it's not in focus. Also something to take into consideration. Russell, next victim. Oh, we can look him in the eye. We'll go back to autofocus because I think the focus will have to be a bit better. Oh, no. $800 times is overkill. 400 already was overkill. Right, arriving from Reykjavik, flight 460 A321neo, the PLOW Airbus, touching down after 2 hours and 29 minutes. Brand new, meaning less than a year old, and the first flight was in May last year. Right, so the duckies, the crows, no coots yet. Two ducks over there. Otherwise, over here in the water, I haven't seen any birds yet. No. All right, our next airplane is arriving from Paris, Charles de Gaulle, 737-800, KLM flight 1224. 16 years old, first flight, February 2007. Now, looking up, there's of course another airplane taking off from runway 24. Where is it? There it is. And with digital zoom we can even go into the cockpit almost, which I'm not going to do. There are a few contrails visible in the distance. The tails are not too long, so not a lot of humidity in the upper atmosphere. Oh, they've increased in number, or I didn't see them earlier. 3 more in the water. And these 2 already were there. Now, next up is an A320neo from EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick, flight 28673. Flight time 47 minutes. A 1-year-old airplane, first flight December 2022. Looks like the traffic jam that we could see in the background in the meantime has resolved. Always annoying on a Friday if you have to go out for work and you think, oh, it's Friday, so I can go from A to B without any traffic jams, and then you hit one. Good morning to everybody who has joined us in the meantime. Welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. Parallel arrivals in progress. I have to update the ticker, but not before zooming into this contrail that is coming our way. There you go, the full 800 zoom. Well, this is a little in the digital zoom range. Let's just go back to the optical part. Oh, it is turning. Thought it was coming directly towards us, but it is bending away from us, making a right-hand turn to the east. In the meantime, and as you are looking along on flight radar, you could have seen that a lot of the traffic is now going to the center runway. Bird controller, I think, is on the tarmac now. Passed me by just now. Not sure if there was a bird strike or if there is a foreign object on the runway. Normally they do a more thorough inspection before closing the other runway, if there are 2 open. So this seems to be unrelated to that. Meanwhile, let me update the ticker for you guys, because the runway usage has changed and the meter also, albeit slightly. 2 runways open for arrivals and 2 for departures. Let me also copy paste the latest meter for you guys. Put it in the ticker, take you through it. First of all, let's paste the meter in the ticker. There we go. And 18 right and 18 C also used for arrivals. There we go. Right, the new ticker, the new meter in the ticker. This is from, oh, they haven't updated the one from 5 to 11 yet, I see. Wind 9 knots, 230 degrees from the southwest. 9999, visibility 10 kilometers or more. View 025 means few clouds at 2,500 feet. The air temperature 2 degrees, the dew point 1 degree, and the air pressure 1018 hectopascals. No significant changes expected in the upcoming 2 hours is what no sig means. Hadi Roy, goedemorgen. And I do believe that the next airplane, or is that just It's always hard to see on flight. No, it is the next airplane already coming this way. Wow. Well, back to the optical zoom. Our next airplane is the Airbus A330-300 KLM flight 765 arriving from Bonaire. Let's see what we can make of the Azzurro of the ITA A320 Neo. That is flying right there. Arriving from Rome. And this is with a little additional digital zoom on top of the optical zoom. You can see it is a bit less sharp. Luckily there's hardly any wind, so following it is a breeze. Lack of wind makes following a breeze. If I focus on the airplane and not look to the left to see where the A330 is at, which I will have to do every now and then. Right, so when that 7478 is arriving, we will be ready for it. Right, far left, the number 2 already visible, A319 EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick. In the foreground, the Delta. It's a reflex. When there's an A330 that you immediately think of Delta over here at Schiphol, but of course KLM also has a decent amount still flying. KLM flight 765, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Bonaire, flight time 8 hours 40 minutes as we speak, 9-year-old airplane, first flight October 2014. And, well, interesting, I see that well, of course, there's no traffic coming from the east right now. I was just wondering if this now has become the only runway once again. Probably not, but anyway. Now Rick asks if we already saw the A321 Neo from Transavia in the stream. I think we have. Standing at Polderbaan at the beginning for departures, and I think it landed at Kaagbaan then. Only from a distance and with backlight, poor lighting. So did we really see it? Well, no. Not yet. And it seems to be very prone to getting injured, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take before we are going to see it live in the stream. Might be a while. Hasn't been very lucky so far. Top left is the Dreamliner arriving from San Francisco from KLM, and in the foreground EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick. A319, 45 minutes of flight time. 14 years old, first flight November 2009. Wolfgang asks if the optical zoom is the same as on the old cam. It is. It is exactly the same camera, except a bit. I think the screen has more pixels, is half an inch bigger, and is a bit brighter, or has the potential to be a bit brighter. Otherwise, same thing. Yeah, and the electronic viewfinder also has a bit more pixels, but I never use it. And that was 20 times optical zoom with a zoom range in 35mm equivalent of 29mm to 600, I believe. Thank you so much for your super chat, Evelyn, who says, what a nice new Delta livery, and as always, butter. Yeah, those Deltas with that blue, it's not as pretty as the blue from the ITAs, but it does come close. Oh dear. Jerry, thank you for your super chat. Jerry writes, I broke the ice on my hot tub, soaking in my Jägermeister glide slope. Like a boss. Excellent, mate. Don't use the plug to get out the water or the Jägermeister. Just sip your way out of the bathtub. Now, didn't Cleopatra used to take baths in milk, goat milk or something? Or is that just hearsay? I do believe that I once saw the guys from the Grand Tour take a bath in red wine. But Jägermeister is next level. I'm pretty sure that the many herbs that are in Jägermeister are in some way, shape or form good for your skin as well. Anyway, this was the Dreamliner arriving from San Francisco, KLM flight 606, the 78710. Well, answer to my rhetorical question earlier, is this now once again the only runway being used for arrivals? The answer to that is no. Hey, Russell making a ruckus. Oh, there's... Well, the Crow family definitely expanded by the looks, has definitely expanded by the looks of it. The ducks still over there. Hey, there were 3 earlier, weren't there? Interesting how they seem to, like quantum particles, appearing and disappearing in thin air. So, no airplanes in the pipeline for Polderbaan immediately. Traffic to runway center, however, is continuing. This is Air France up. Embraer 170. As you guys can see, a bit of additional digital zoom. Let's max that out. Okay, well, following it is really difficult now. Already lost it. There we go. Just a touch of additional digital zoom. Oh, never noticed that the tail is a big exclamation mark. The exclamation mark, of course, being invented, having been invented by the father of Dr. Evil. Oh no, that was the question mark. Gerrit. Gerrit asks how my ribs are. Still in one piece. They are hardly bothering me at all. Went to the gym earlier this week. I think I'm going to go again tonight. Then take it easy next week, the week preceding my departure. Or is that a week later? Not sure. No, wait, it is 1 week later. No, it's fine. I still feel it a little bit when I have to sneeze very... when the sneeze comes from deep within, so to speak. Or if I really have to cough hard. But other than feeling it, it's okay. In daily practice, I don't have any hindrance of it anymore. Sleeping is good. Going to the gym also. Obviously not doing the exercise that triggered it. Just a leg extension for my upper legs, or at least for the quadriceps, which puts no strain on the back whatsoever. Allows me to keep doing gym work without risking additional injuries. So that is healing quite nicely actually, Gerrit. In the meantime, our next airplane also has arrived. EasyJet flight 27836 arriving from Edinburgh. A319, flight time 58 minutes. The airplane 15 years old, first flight February 2008. And alright, there is another airplane behind it, arriving from Birmingham, 737-800. Nah, Michael, bandages are no longer needed. It really doesn't hurt whenever I do anything. Also, earlier in the week, me and my neighbors had roofers putting on a new layer on the flat rooftop terrace, which is one continuous rooftop from the front to the back side, going around one of the neighbors' houses. So we had it replaced, or at least have another layer put over it to prevent leakage. And the tiles that I had on them, stone tiles, I had to remove first. So I did that in the weekend and also placed them back yesterday. They were done on Wednesday, I think. Went without any problem, so I don't expect to get any hindrance from my ribs during skiing whatsoever. It's almost completely healed already. I consider it to be healed. Right, this is KLM flight 1422 arriving from Birmingham. Flight 1422, 737-800, 43 minutes of flight time. 23 years old, first flight November 2000. Rick asks if he missed anything. Well, not much. Went to the gym, did a belt squat exercise, which is a quadriceps exercise where you do squats. But instead of resting a barbell in your neck, which puts axial pressure on your entire back and severely fatigues you systemically, you can also do that with a machine that you put weight on, and then you tie a belt around your lower back and fixate it to the machine, and then you can lift the weight via that belt. The only pressure it puts on is on your lower back, and if you place the belt properly, you should be fine. But if you place it a little bit too high, it can put stress on your lower ribs, and that's what happened. So bruised it, and to make matters worse, I also had a creaking clutch pedal, which I tried to fix with WD-40 when the weather was bad, and you have to lean in and crouch and lay on your right hand side, of course, to really get access to the upper part of the pedal. And that was also the side I injured a few days before, so that only made things severely worse. Evelyn asks me to properly zoom in on the Vueling tail. Well, Vueling is still a bit further out. This is JetBlue arriving from Boston, flight 631. And the 7478 is also approaching flying base now. Debbie carries WD-40 in her handbag. Well, I do also have a little bottle of WD-40. I think it was a gift when I purchased something online lately or something. I don't remember anymore, but it does fit in your purse or in your handbag. Now, luckily, it's never that urgent that you immediately need to use it, or at least almost never. Right. 737-800 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Up next, KLM flight 1228. There's also a 777 on the glide slope for center that I also want to show you guys. But this landing is going to happen first. Oh. Sounds like there was ever so slightly reverse thrust being applied there. Squeaky doors, my nemesis, Debbie says. A righteous infliction of retribution manifested by an appropriate agent. Personified in this case by WD-40. Right, there are some people over at Polderbaan. There's also a car on the cycling path. Oh, and there's a quad that just passed by me, directly over me, flying from west to east. What is it? Did I lose it? Too much zoom. Huh, interesting. Hard to miss. Big ass contrail. 747? Possibly. Right, well, there's an Embraer 190 arriving from London City coming to this runway. I'm going to skip that landing and focus in on the Queen that is going to center. Queen number 2, Cathay Pacific Cargo, flight 2067 arriving from Dubai. It's a 7478. Has been flying for 7 hours and 19 minutes to get here. That is interesting. Normally speaking, with the A380, it is 6.5 hours or so. The airplane is 7 years old. Its first flight was in June 2016. Well, you can even see the turbulence of the air, even though it is relatively cold. Still some turbulence in the atmosphere. Right. En goedemorgen Liewe. Now, if you like far away, zoomed in 7478 arrivals, and you haven't done so already, don't forget to like this stream. Make sure that other people who might be interested in this content also get suggested streams like this. We are waiting for, there is the dwelling that Evelyn was referring to coming to the Polderbaan, but before it is really close by. I do see the lights in the distance, but still far away. Let's have a look at the second ITA arriving from Milan. This is ITA Airways flight 120, Airbus A320, flight time 1 hour and 36 minutes. It's a regular Airbus A320. 14 years old already. Does get a little bit pixelated with the additional digital zoom. First flight of this airplane was in July 2009. So if you just tuned the show, welcome. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It's a nice sunny day over here in the Netherlands. We're alongside Polderbaan, runway 18 right, which is currently one of 2 runways being used for arrivals. Center being the second one. Departures take place to the south and to the southwest via runways 18 left and primarily via runway 24, de Kaagbaan. Air temperature just above 0. There's a little bit of wind from the southwest, which means there is a little bit of crosswind for the pilots landing here today. They are landing from north to south. And it seems that there are more ducks now than there were before. It's like we first saw a lot of, we saw 2 ducks and a lot of crows, and it's almost as if the crows have morphed into ducks and are now swimming in the water. That is so typical. Anyway, Vueling flight 8300 up next, arriving from Barcelona. This is another A320. Departed from Barcelona an hour and 59 minutes ago, 7 years old, first flight March 2016. Now Evelyn has a friend that has a little bit of OCD tendencies, who cannot stand the fact that there is one dot on the tail that is in a different color than the rest. And she always likes to rub that in her friend's face. So that is something you can do right now. In the meantime, Aegean is landing on runway center. Let me see if I can multitask and get the information. Aegean Airlines flight 3624 A320 Neo. Having arrived from Athens. Right. Big picture, this is what it looks like. The sun is out, hardly any clouds. This is looking to the south. This is looking to the east. This is looking straight north. And what few clouds there are to the west, over the sea, the North Sea. As the crow flies, I think 10-15 miles away from here, 20 or so kilometers. Bird traffic passing from left to right and right to left. Did not know that we were standing here at an intersection of birds passing left and right, but there you go. Bird controller is nowhere to be seen, by the way. Vic asks where the E2s are. That's a good question, mate. Yesterday there were a relatively big bunch in the hour that I was able to stream, but that was outbound. I'm assuming they are bound to be inbound soon. Probably around noon, beginning of the afternoon. Right. Now, there was also a 747 approaching from the east, was flying over England as the 747-8 we saw land a couple of minutes ago was over German airspace. Let's have another look at the big picture at the moment. First of all, let's do a refresh of the weather. Right, so air temperature is now 3 degrees Celsius. Not much has changed. The wind is from 220 degrees, 10 knots. A refresh of the satellite footage. We are approximately over here. You can see the wind is blowing from this direction. Nothing is coming, but clear sky. Let's do a refresh of runway usage. We are standing right here next to Polderbaan. 18 right. Runway configuration hasn't changed. In terms of the big birds, this one is due for 3 p.m. Won't be around when that lands, but this one we are going to catch. 7478 arriving from Miami, Florida, is expected in 10 minutes or so, is over the North Sea, is expected soon. The Emirates A388 is crossing over into Czech airspace from Austrian airspace, expected 12:40, so that is in an hour and 20 minutes from now. Let me do a quick update of the weather in the ticker for you guys. If you're new to METARs and you're wondering what those letters and numbers mean, it is the weather, actually quite informative. So METAR EHAM. EHAM is one of the abbreviations for Schiphol Airport. EHAM, Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. This METAR is from 9:55 Zulu time or 10:55 local time from the 19th of January, so from today. The wind 220 degrees, 10 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 3,000 feet. The air temperature 3 degrees Celsius. The dew point is 1 degree Celsius. The air pressure is 1,018 hectopascals, and no significant changes are expected in the upcoming 2 hours. Right. Oh, also some birds flying above me, circling. Those are seagulls, not predator birds. I'm not dying just yet. Let's have a look. Now the pipeline is filling. More airplanes behind this one also coming in, so traffic is picking up again. Also, yay for Rich, who celebrates a month of membership. Welcome back, or no, I should say welcome still. Thank you, Rich, for your continued support there, mate. Hope you still enjoy it in the lounge. Right, let's have a look. Is this Captain Wheelie then? Doesn't look like it. KLM Flight 986 this was. Embraer 190 arriving from London City. One of the many Han asks if I showered this morning. Seagulls may come for a fishy smell. Good question. I did not shower this morning, so could that be it then? Well, as long as they don't attack simultaneously, I think I should be good over here. Another Embraer 190 is inbound next, arriving from Bristol. Inbound from the other side is the bird controller. K4. Alrighty, 2 airplanes on the glide slope. The Embraer 190 arriving from Bristol. KLM flight 1050 is in the middle part of the screen. Left of it, KLM flight 706 arriving from Rio de Janeiro. That is a 7879 Dreamliner. Iceland Air Max 8 arriving from Reykjavik is number 3. Is visible at 7 o'clock of the Dreamliner. Iceland Air Flight 500. Now we can see that this airplane has sunglasses on or has a raccoon look, so from that we can deduce that this is German Airways flying for KLM. The Embraer 190 is 16 years old, just as old as Chalky. First flight January 2008. This airplane arriving from Bristol, now touching down after 52 minutes of flight. Indeed, Jerry, triple glide slope shot. Bottoms up. Alrighty. Next up is the Dreamliner arriving from Rio de Janeiro, KLM flight 706. Departed from Rio 10 hours 22 minutes ago, 7879 Dreamliner, 7 years old, first flight March 2016. Behind it is the Iceland Air Max 8 flight, Iceland Air Flight 500. Happy New Year! And the lighting still gorgeous. Let's see, is that another quad? Hard to see. Does look like it. Passing from, well, east-west mostly. A little bit from southeast to northwest. And it has passed south of me and is already west of me. More contrails coming. Maybe it is on the same track. That is a twin by the looks of it. And also further east. Also a twin coming this way by the looks of it. Okay. A lot of traffic, both on the cycling path, the runway and next to the runway. Iceland Airfly 500, Boeing 737 MAX 8, arriving from Reykjavik, touching down now after 2 hours 25 minutes. 5-year-old airplane, first flight February 2018. And a tractor that just passed by. I spy with my little eye yet another queen of the sky. And also a, well, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, Karmalik 1. Karmalici 1. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Hope you like it in the lounge. Make sure to use the custom emojis at your disposal now, whenever you feel like it. Now folks, if you like glide slope shots like this and you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop a like. And if you want to stay updated of when I'm going live in the future, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. It's not something you need to do for me, it's just handy for yourself. 2 big birds in one shot over here. The big bird in the foreground is KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. It's a 777-300 ER. On the way now for 9 hours and 20 minutes. 6 years old, first flight February 2007. Behind it is of course the Boeing 747-8 from Atlas Air arriving from Miami, Florida. Parallel arrivals still very much in progress. And behind it is a Dreamliner from TUI arriving from Aruba. But up first is Atlas Air flight 8209. It's a Boeing 747-8 arriving from Miami, Florida. It is underway now for 7 hours and 39 minutes on this flight. It's a relatively new airplane. 1 year old, first flight April 2022. Must be one of the latest 747s then. And also welcome back Sarah, who just renewed her membership. Thank you so much for renewing your membership and your continued support, Sarah. I'm very happy to see that you still like it over here. And if not as a member, then I hope you will continue to frequently visit the streams as a regular visitor. Atlas Air, Boeing 747-8, arriving from Miami, Florida. Will it reverse and become loud? We'll see. Let's look and listen. What a stunning sight with the light and the spray, snowy spray. Unfortunately, not a very loud landing. We've definitely heard better. But it doesn't detract from the fact that it was a beautiful landing visually. Now, quickly vacating. As you guys saw already, the next airplane is not too far behind it. Authority figure coming in from the left. Let's quickly turn back. Next up is TUI, flight 361. Boeing 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Oranjestad or Aruba. The airplane has been underway now for 8 hours and 24 minutes to get here. Has been flying in total now for 9 years, since May 2014. Hey Wendy, goedemorgen. And all other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good morning to you too. Welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. Landings at Polderbaan. Right, our next airplane is an Embraer 175 arriving from Norwich. The wind has begun to pick up ever so slightly. I have been standing here with unheated gloves so far. I am going to switch that up now to something to keep the hands warm. Right, I think we are now no longer going to see 747s before 3 p.m. I think the next quad to arrive is going to be the Emirates A380 that is expected around 12:40. Let's have another quick double check to see. So the Atlas Air just now landed. The Emirates A380, right, a few minutes ahead of schedule compared to just now, almost entering German airspace. And yeah, no other quad engines are expected. In terms of runway usage, still the same status quo. So obviously the icing on the cake would be if the A380 was going to land on Polderbaan later. Not sure if we are going to be so lucky. Fingers crossed, but time will tell. This is KLM flight 1516 arriving from Norwich, Embraer 175. Relatively tall winglets, outward standing, more outward facing than on the Embraer 190. The easiest way to recognize them when you see them approach from the front. Look at the winglets. The Embraer 190s are relatively shorter and more upright. Gorgeous. Runway 24 still very much in use for departures. That looks like a Dreamliner. Oh, and there are a few more clouds to the south I now see. It's nothing substantial. Big picture wise, this is what it looks like looking to the west, southwest, south, southeast. 18 left also being used for departures, as you guys can see. That's an airplane taking off from 18 left. And another arriving airplane on Polderaan. Look at the winglets, it is another Embraer 175, easily recognizable. This one arriving from Stavanger, KLM flight 1198. Now, we haven't seen a lot of butt shots. I think that might have to do with the low temperatures. Maybe the airplanes prefer to roll out instead of braking, just to prevent them from slipping off the runway. Temperature is just above zero. I'm not sure if the tarmac is already above zero. The sun has been shining throughout, so might be, but better safe than sorry. So it's not a day of plenty of butt shots, but definitely a couple of glide slope shots. Now also a big welcome to Margot, who just became a member. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines, Margot. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the custom emojis now at your disposal. Feel free to spam us with them whenever you feel like. We have another Embraer 190 coming this way. Raccoon look, bank robber look, sunglasses look, whatever you would like to call it. It is one of the rentals from German Airways that are still going to be flying for KLM until after the winter season. Originally rented because a substantial chunk of the E2 Embraers were grounded due to engine problems and lack of availability of spare parts, I believe it was. Now the E2 fleet is flying again, and these airplanes, including Chucky, the licensee for chocolaterie special livery, are expected to disappear from the streams and Schiphol after the winter season. Still flying for KLM. This one, flight 958, arriving from Newcastle. And Koen asks how I'm doing. I'm doing fine. Just the hands were beginning to get a little cold, but they are doing already better. And otherwise, very good. 2 weeks from now, we'll be going to the Dolomites for a week of skiing. Plenty of snow there. Now the question is, will there be plenty of sunshine? That's something you cannot influence. So just wait and see. Good morning to everybody who has tuned in. In the meantime, nice sunny weather. Wilma, goedemorgen. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Now, parallel arrivals. At the moment, I'm not seeing any airplanes coming to Polderaan. Interestingly enough, this airplane is arriving from London Heathrow. Now, I'm looking around. I'm thinking it is 12:45. Normally, runway changes take place around 11:40. Apologies. So I'm thinking maybe they are going to do a runway inspection of Polderban, which is something they typically do preceding a runway closure of the other runway. So that means that it might be the case that they now close Polderban temporarily to do an inspection, so that then they can open it and make it the main runway for arrivals and then close runway center. I'm thinking that is what is going on, but again, time will tell. Now you're a bit closer by. That's the bird I also saw a meter away from me earlier. Now in the grass. Oh, there are two. There's two of them. All right. Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. Thank you so much, Sarah, for just now gifting a membership. And Michael, I see you're the recipient of said membership. Unfortunately, you will say thank you. Undoubtedly, unfortunately, undoubtedly. I need coffee. Welcome back, Michael, and thank you so much for the gifted membership, Sarah. Now, let's zoom out, go back to the airplanes. Otherwise, you guys might think, what is going on? We're looking at dirt and grass. There was a bird earlier, but as is common with birds, they never sit still for a prolonged period of time in one place. Embraer 190 arriving from Prague, the Czech Republic. KLM flight 1352 is what we are now looking at. This part, oh. This airplane underway from Prague to Amsterdam now for 1 hour and 8 minutes. This airplane 10 years old, first flight November 2013. Alright, now next airplane is coming, slowly but surely. Let me scroll back up and say a massive big thank you to Jerry, who just now gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much for that, Jerry. That is above and beyond. If you are one of the 10 recipients of the gifted memberships that Jerry gifted just now, don't forget to say thank you and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Those 10 new members. Make sure to use the custom emojis at your disposal whenever you feel like it. And once again, a big thank you to Jerry for the 10 gifted memberships just now. And also Evelyn, thank you so much for your super chat. No text along with it, accompanying it, but thank you so much for that still. Now, let's have a look. This is an airplane I might be on in 2 or 3 weeks from now. This one arriving from Innsbruck. Transavia flight 6610 737-800. Flight time 1 hour 20 minutes or so, 1 hour 13 minutes. That is par for the course. And the airplane is 7 years old. First flight was in February 2016. Also looking around to see I do see that the bird controller is now on the tarmac in the vicinity of the fire station, so further to the right, coming this way. So I think the runway inspection preceding the closure of center is now in fact in progress. Ricardo asks if the strooiwagen, the salt vehicles have already been on the runway. I haven't seen them, Ricardo. If they were there, it might have been before my arrival, but I haven't seen any. Just seeing an inspection of the runway now going on. And I think that is going to precede the closure of the center runway. And that is good because the A380 is expected in, what was it? 40 minutes, 45 minutes from now? And that translates to a high probability, relatively high probability that the A380 is in fact going to land on Polderbaan today. Now, I have said that out loud just now, so I hope I haven't jinxed it. But common sense tells me this is now quite likely. Our friendly neighborhood, the police, also patrolling. And the duckies huddled on the, for us, left hand side. Now, for the occasion, let me re-enable digital zoom, since we do have to wait a little while for traffic to Polderbaan. Not exactly sure what the next airplane to Polderbaan is going to be, so we have to make do for a few more minutes with following the traffic to center. This is KLM flight 1330, arriving from Aalborg. Embraer 175, flight time 59 minutes as we speak. 6-year-old airplane, first flight January 2017. Hey, it is the ultimate. Alvin, what's going on, mate? Good to see you, hope all is well. This is the new camera indeed, which is basically the same camera as I had before, just with more pixels and a bit higher resolution on the camera screen. Not the lens or the chip, the sensor. Just a bit, half an inch bigger screen, more pixels, more brightness, and also the electronic viewfinder that I never use. Apparently also supposedly has more pixels. Other than that, it is basically the same camera as I had before. For an update, Canon really did not do a lot to sell it as a new camera. It's 20 better, yeah. That's what they say. Right, well, 2 more airplanes coming to center. The first one over there. Croatia Airlines, arriving from Zagreb, flight 450. In the Star Alliance livery. Getting a little bit pixelated with the additional digital zoom. But this would be the top range of the optical zoom, so without going overboard, it does provide a bit better picture, or at least a bit bigger picture, without it getting too pixelated. Luckily, not a lot of wind makes following a bit easier. Now, this airplane, whoa, multitasking. I was trying to find the airplane age and flight time, and then I lost the airplane. Flight time was 1 hour 42 minutes. The airplane is 19 years old. And I think I see the next airplane to Polderbaan. So I'm thinking, is this then going to be the last airplane to Zwanenburgbaan, the center runway? Where is it? Oh, still a bit further to the left. Here we go. Now there's also an Embraer 175 behind this Max 8 from Sun Express, arriving from Izmir, Turkey. Hearing a few birds chirp here and there. Almost like spring is in the air, but that may not go so far to call that already. Right, this is 400 times zoom, fully pixelated, but very obviously a Dreamliner coming this way. This is KLM Flight 622 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. It's a 787-10 Dreamliner. Yeah, a little bit of additional digital zoom can't hurt. Another airplane in the distance already visible behind it. KLM Flight 1072 737-800 arriving from Manchester. Right, since I think we won't be needing it anymore, I'm going to disable the digital zoom. There we go, back to optical zoom only. Evelyn thinks that in that zoom the plane looks very goofy. Well, it is crabbing a little bit, so it looks a bit off in that respect. Not sure if that is what the goofiness is. And Han also mentioning about a C5 Galaxy passing south of me. The question is, how far south is it going to pass? And where is it now? northwest of Alphen. But it is moving from northwest to southeast, so it has already passed then. Or is... Surely it isn't this one, is it? Right in that part of the sky where it is very hard to make out any details. Hey there, Ofek. And Drew asks, any update on wide-body arrivals? Well, I do see a KLM Airbus A330 flying downwind. That is looking to come this way. And the Emirates A380 was expected around 12:35 local time, if I recall correctly. Between 12:35 and 40. It is the only contrail that I am now seeing in that quadrant of the sky that is moving in the direction that you described, Han. I think it probably was it, but did not get a good look at it, unfortunately. Let's see, a couple of narrow bodies coming in next. 3 narrow bodies, a 737-800 arriving from Dublin, Embraer 175 arriving from Southampton, E2 Embraer, there's our E2, now number 3 arriving from Stockholm. Can we see it already, the number 3? Maybe you guys see it, but I don't. Wind is picking up. It's also looking at the chimney smoke. No, it is still from the southwest. This is a Transavia airplane flying for KLM. KLM flight 934 arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Touching down after an hour and 6 minutes of flight. Nah, don't sweat it, hon. I was happy that I read your message, because that is my biggest issue these days, that I don't see all of your messages in time. Embraer 175, KLM flight 916 up next, arriving from Southampton. Behind it is an E2 Embraer, KLM flight 1106 arriving from Stockholm. Embraer 190 behind it from Leeds, and another E2 is coming behind it. And then the A330 by the looks of it, which is now almost flying over Bergen, no less, Bergen aan Zee, quite far to the north. So indeed, what I thought was going to happen has just happened. After the runway inspection taking place on Polderbaan, this now has become the only runway used for arrivals for the time being. That is good news, ladies and gentlemen, because if the A380 is not going to get excessively delayed in the meantime, which I think is highly unlikely, it is going to land on this runway then. Then again, it is Schiphol Airport. Nothing is ever certain here. I don't want to have spoken too soon, so let's just rephrase it to a very high probability that the A380 is going to land on this runway. Still, lovely weather here in the Netherlands, looking to the south, looking to the west. A couple of contrails. Looking to the east and back to the north. We haven't seen any butt shots yet, but plenty of glide slope shots luckily. Great weather today. And we're still waiting for the Emirates A380, which is expected around 12:30, 12:40-ish. So that is within half an hour from now. Right. Big ass engines, no winglets. That is an E2. The lighting looking in this direction all throughout the stream has been magnificent. Also the heat emanating from the engines, beautiful to see the distortion of the air. Okay, delayed butt shot and very, very temporary. Granted. And Harry, up in Canada, has it cold, -10? I'm assuming you're talking about C, or is it even -10F? Probably C, which is still significantly colder than it is over here. Here it is just above 0. A little bit of wind now. Wind definitely has picked up a little bit. Chimney smoke, there we go. It has definitely picked up a little bit compared with the beginning of the stream, which makes for a bit of crabbing, which is also nice to see. This is KLM flight 1546 arrival from Leeds, and Bravo 190, flight time 47 minutes. The airplane 12 years old, first flight January 2012. They're all rolling out. Maria informing us that the A380 is now in the vicinity of Münster in Germany. ETA 12:35 and 37. So high probability that we are going to see it up close and land on Polderbaan today, folks. So if you don't have to go anywhere, definitely stick around. Now, I began later today, so normally I would wrap up after the A380 has landed. I think I might stay another hour or so. Also began an hour later approximately compared with normal. Use that time to do a few of the chores around the house that I normally would do after being done streaming. So I think I still have some time. Assuming that there are some interesting airplanes coming. If it is going to be an Embraer fest, then maybe I'm going to wrap it up. But let's just see. No strict time constraints today for me in that respect. Another airplane without winglets with big ass engines that looks like a narrow body. It has a KLM livery, so that is another E2 Embraer. Oh wow, Alvin says 32 degrees today in Sydney. Wow. That's a bit of overkill, but I suppose in 6 months from now that is probably the status quo over here. Alrighty, next up, KLM flight 787 arriving from Port of Spain. Now, flight 787 obviously isn't being flown by a 787. It's a running gag of KLM to assign airplane type flight numbers to flights that are flown by airplanes that are not the airplane type they're assigning it to, if you're still following what I'm saying. So this is an Airbus A380-200 that is flying a flight KLM flight 787. Port of Spain, flight time 8 hours 29 minutes as we speak. The airplane began flying in August 2005, making it 18 years old. That is what you can see with this camera in optical zoom being fully zoomed in. Wind is definitely picking up a little bit. If it becomes worse, I might have to resort to image stabilization enabled, but I am going to see if I can manage without. There's a quad engine coming my way. It looks like it is on one of the tracks from Frankfurt to the United States. Southeast of me. Looks like it might pass just south of me. My position just south of me, I should say. What is it? Is it an A340? The wings look relatively thin. It's not looking like an A380. They're also at a relatively straight angle versus the fuselage. 747s have a more backward swept wing, so I'm thinking A340. Regular viewers will know by now that my camera is pointing upwards, so that means that my my phone screen is pointing downwards to the ground, so I'm not able to read your messages, but I can now clearly see there's also a bit of dark around the tail. Lufthansa A340. Oh! It passed by another airplane. Too bad I have digital zoom not enabled. Might have to do that for the next quad contrail passing by so closely. Also a departure from runway 24. Don't immediately recognize the tail of that airplane. Right. Time to go back to the traffic at Polderaan. That was an SAS A320neo. And this is a Transavia arriving from Barcelona, flight 5132 737-800. Now, also a big thank you to Jeroen, who just super chatted and says, "For you, buddy, you're still standing there. Can you get a cup of coffee?" I will certainly do that. Thank you so much for that, Jeroen. Very much appreciated. I absolutely love being here out in this weather. This is the wintry weather that I very much enjoy being in. Always lovely this time of year. As long as it stays dry and it is not too windy, and luckily it's still bearable. Wind is picking up a little bit, but and Flores is mentioning that the A380 is going to the center runway, sadly. That is very unfortunate. Means that I will have to enable digital zoom after all. We're going to zoom the hell out of this camera. Make sure we can read along on the checklists in the cockpit. So the A380 must have arrived in Dutch airspace already then. Let's have a look on flight radar. Right, yeah, it is in fact now flying towards the province of Flevoland. Okay. Hey, is that on? Yeah, that's on the airport terrain, these vehicles. Okay, interesting. Our next airplane is coming this way, and the airplane behind it is also already visible. Embraer 190 arriving from Düsseldorf, and let me, before I forget and don't have the time for it, enable digital zoom already so that we can zoom in further if need be. Right, Latam Cargo 767 is number 3. Can we see it already? Usually, oh yeah, I think that might be it. Three airplane glide slope shot. The number 1 is KLM flight 1856, Embraer 190 arriving from Düsseldorf. Behind it is a Vueling A320 arriving from Barcelona. Wind is picking up. While I have the time, I'm going to enable image stabilizer. This is going to reduce the vibrations a little. It's not going to mitigate it fully, unfortunately, but it does make it a bit better. Right, so once again, KLM flight 1856 arriving from Düsseldorf. Embraer 190, 14 years old. 40 is a bit overkill. 14. Huh. A little bit of additional digital zoom, and we can even see if they have some crumbles in their beards. That is nice. Use cautiously. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, 777 on the downwind leg should be visible. Right, there it is. The 777 on the downwind leg arriving from Rio de Janeiro. KLM flight 792, which we will see land shortly. The wind has picked up, combined with the low temperatures, making my eyes water a little bit. Vueling flight 8309 arriving from Barcelona. Also no Spanish butt shots. They are rolling them out today. Right, we are going to get a few more heavies now, and we're starting off with Latam Cargo Boeing 767. All white with the exception of the logo of Latam Cargo, flight 1505, arrival from Miami, Florida, 767-300 ER. 767-300 freighter ER, I should say. Flight time 7 hours 47 minutes. The airplane is 17 years old. First flight was in October 2006. The airplane behind it is Delta Airlines flight 143, arriving from Seattle, Washington. An Airbus A330-300. Hey, Jin, Cathay spotter, good day to you. Hope all is well. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime as well, a good day to you. Welcome to the show. We're in awaiting of the Emirates A380 that is expected in just over 10 minutes or so. Unfortunately, it has been assigned to the center runway, but visibility is good, and with additional digital zoom we are going to see it perfectly fine. Delta A330. On the far left we have an Air Lingus A320 arriving from Dublin, Shamrock flight 604. And on the right hand side we have Delta Airlines flight 142, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Seattle, Washington. Now this is back in the optical zoom range. We had a bit of additional digital zoom, but with the wind picking up, maybe this is a bit easier on the eyes. And Jeroen informing us that it is in fact the Irish rugby team special livery from Aer Lingus that is number 2. The airplane is definitely crabbing more than the airplanes that landed in the beginning of the stream. Wind is picking up, wind from the southwest, a bit of crosswind. The most frequently prevailing wind over here in the Netherlands from the southwest. I.e. business as usual. Yes. No. More reversers, damn it. I think that's the first airplane of the entire stream that has substantially used the reversers. And even for an A330 it was still somewhat subdued. Wasn't full reverse, I think. Kaagbaan runway 24 still in use for departures. Kaagbaan, by the way, closing for major maintenance from February 19th and I think until beginning of April. Meaning different runway usage. Not sure yet what that is going to mean for us. I think more runway usage of the center and eastmost north-south runway during certain windy conditions, and the same old on other days. So I'm not sure yet what it is going to mean if maybe there is another situation where center is being used with traffic from two runways passing by continuously, as we also had in the summer with the closure of Polderbaan. No, it wasn't the closure of Polderbaan, it was the closure of a different runway. But that was also, I think, the Kaagbaan that was closed back then. Either way, from February 19th, 0624, Kaagbaan will be closed for an extended period of time. I believe somewhere until in April. And indeed, Aer Lingus with snow on its nose. Well spotted. Wonder what that snow might have been. They're doing a Tour de Polderbaan, these two vehicles. Alright, now let's have a look. A380 is, the triple that we saw flying downwind is going to land on center. Hey, Big Al, good to see you, Alan, from warm Orlando. Bloody hot. 777 is going to land on center and the A380 is flying base. Now this is with image stabilizer enabled, not touching the camera. This is unfortunately the vibrations you still sometimes get despite all the countermeasures. The A380 unfortunately landing on runway center. We'll keep an eye out for it. Make sure that we go back to it whenever it becomes visible. Now that 777 that we saw fly on the other side and to the other in the other direction is now landing over here. The center runway. As you guys can see with digital zoom. In addition to optical zoom, you can see the airplane still quite well, and the same will go for the A380 that is it directly behind it? It is typical. Less than an hour that Polderbound was the only runway being used for arrivals. Another day at Schiphol with a stereotypical Schiphol decision. Now, luckily we have good visibility, and here it is, the Emirates A380. Flight 147, the daily flight between Dubai and Amsterdam. Today flown on A380 that is 12 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in October 2011. Flight time 6 hours and 39 minutes. So that is par for the course, always around 6.5 hours at this stage. This the standard livery, the old standard livery without the ribbon tail. AMS Live members have access to the latest iteration with the ribbon tail. Now, this is a lot of digital zoom over on top of optical zoom, and it is a bit windy. I have image stabilizer enabled, but unfortunately it still makes for shaky footage. Maybe going back to the optical zoom range is better. Now, this airplane now is the number 8 worldwide on flight radar, tracked by 448 people. We have a few more viewers watching right now. Can we get it into the top 5? I'm not sure how many viewers we need to get there. Right, different angle versus the wind. I am going to zoom in digitally once more. I think the wind is affecting the camera less from this angle. You can see the reversers in action. Now, how far are we zoomed in from here, you might wonder? About this far. Right, so that was the Emirates A380. Unfortunately, landing on the wrong runway. Not seeing any airplanes coming to Polderbound just yet. Right now, more traffic to the center runway. Oh, too far to the left. The next airplane is already coming in. It is KLM flight 1008, arriving from London Heathrow, 737-700. Well, flight time 42 minutes, which is nominal for London Amsterdam. Average is around 40 minutes. The airplane is 12 years old. Its first flight was in February 2011. Keep hearing something in the distance, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh, they're doing something. Ah, well, you guys asked for it. Nice. They're doing the runway. This is what you guys wanted to see, right? Now, if you like your runway getting rid of snow, then make sure to like the stream if you haven't done so already. I thought I heard something. It wasn't an airplane, but a shitload of vehicles patrolling the runway, being directed by the bird controller. So that is why no traffic to Polderbaan at the moment. Also a big thank you to Alvin for your super sticker. Smiling face with hard eyes. The de-icing indeed, Renee. They're cleaning the runway. Not sure if this is necessary, because it hasn't snowed since we have been here. Big Al says, catch you later, legend. It's time to give Mickey Mouse a kicking. Be careful, don't be an animal abuser. And Evelyn says that the Transavia A321neo is on its way. Still 1 hour and 40 minutes underway. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe staying an hour or so after the A380 has landed. Not sure if we're going to see a lot of heavy still, or if it's going to be an Embraer fest all the way. Alan asks if they are melting it so it runs off as water, or are they sweeping the snow? I have no idea actually. It might be that they are heating it up or something. The plows are above the ground, so they're probably using heat instead then. That would be the most logical thing in my opinion. Or maybe they are sweeping it somewhere where we cannot see the sweeping action. Now, this is definitely a sight you don't see every day. The conductor leading the way, K3. Well, I'm pretty sure that somewhere in here is a thumbnail for today's stream. So that makes my job after the streaming is done a bit easier. They are sweeping. These are the sweeps. Of course, much more energy efficient now that I think about it. Well, it's an entire convoy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if I count correctly. Seems like the two vehicles that we saw pass by on both sides of the runway are also on the move again, this time with a crane, a shovel on the backside of the trailer. Right, well, hard to see if they are covering the entire runway. I don't think they are. I think they might be covering half of it and will be covering the second half if they move back from the north to the south in a few minutes. So while this is taking place, let's also have another look at the traffic going to center right now. At the moment, the next airplane flying by over here is KLM flight 1166. Arriving from Helsinki, Finland. Embraer 190, 2 hours and 12 minutes underway. 8-year-old airplane, first flight December 2015. And I believe that the wind is slowing again. Also notice no more vibrations following the airplane, or at least not as heavy as before. That's good news. Ooh, overtaking a truck. Follow Me Aviation says 78710 on final. That is good news. before it still an A320neo from Kuwait Airways. And let me quickly go into the camera menu, get rid of the image stabilizer. I prefer working without it enabled whenever possible, so that you don't get overshoots. There we go, A320neo Kuwait Airways, arriving from Kuwait City. Flight 127 A320neo, flight time 6 hours and 3 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old, first flight November 2020. That hump on the back, I believe, is for Wi-Fi, right? Alright, Maria, thank you for joining. See you on the next one. Good night, sleep tight. And here we have the Dreamliner 787-10. Yeah, that was too far zoomed in. Where did it go? There it is. Arriving from Las Vegas. KLM flight 636. 787-10 Dreamliner, flight time 9 hours 21 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old, and the first flight of this airplane was in August 2020. Now, in the meantime, the convoy of snow sweepers is nearing the northern threshold, so they are probably going to have to turn one at a time. Then they are probably going to come back to do the other half of the runway. Means that we are still going to see traffic to center instead of Polderbout for at least a good 15 minutes, if not more, to come. In the meantime, you can also see quite a few contrails in the sky. Let's see. Well, I think this one is very clear for everyone to see. This is an A380 from Emirates. Quite clear and recognizable livery, and not the new standard livery with the ribbon tail. Obviously going from Dubai to somewhere west of us. There's another airplane behind it somewhere. There we go. Let's see what we can make of it. Is that also Emirates? Is that an Emirates triple? I think it might be. I think it is. Right, so bit of digital zoom, and we can even make out what airplane it is that the contrail is making. That is making the contrail, I should say. Again, caffeine deficiency over here. Meanwhile, a bit closer to home, EasyJet flight 22515 arriving from London Luton. It should have the Europcar sticker somewhere on the livery. Oh yeah, in the back. A320neo. Flight time 45 minutes. Another 737 passing by me. Behind me, that is one of the Departures from runway 24, and now you guys can see it already. The wind is picking up once again. Right, the snow plows are coming this way from the left. A tractor is coming towards us from the right, from behind. Let's have another look at the snow sweepers. I have re-enabled digital zoom when applying image stabilizer, but when applying digital zoom you can only do so much, unfortunately. And indeed, Pim, what snow? That is something I was wondering as well, because there hasn't been any substantial snow on the runway and no new snow has fallen since we have been here. Cleaning the invisible snow. In the meantime, I also see that the moon has risen above the horizon. A bit vague still because the sun is also out, but there you go. Now, snow sweepers do sweep up some stuff. You do see that they produce a little bit of spray. It's not substantial, but it is something, so there must be something lying on the runway still. Not sure if it is going to stay above zero in the upcoming days. I think it is getting warmer as the weekend progresses, but not sure if it's going to stay dry all the time. So the shovel has been delivered. Meanwhile, an up-close twin contrail. Wing shape looks like a Dreamliner. Is that Delta? You guys tell me. And again, fully zoomed out, this is what I was looking at. Meanwhile, the parade passing by. Bird control vehicle leading the way. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 vehicles are going to pass by. This is number 1. Ah, Delta A330. So it was Delta, but the wing shape I mistakenly thought was Dreamliner, but was A330. Okay. Frankfurt to Detroit at 36,000 feet. Awesome. And Gerrit is going to enjoy his fish. Enjoy, Gerrit. See you on the next one. Take care, my friend. Well, traffic galore. 3 layers of traffic on ground level 2 and 1 in the air. You can see they still sweep up some stuff, so it's probably not fully in vain. Now I think over here this is just before the midpoint of the runway. So indeed, Jendrosek, no honking. Missed opportunity for the chauffeur guys. I'm also a bit disappointed that the snow sweepers aren't look at here, look at this. So there is something after all. They are still having some snow to remove. Well, I say snow, it looks more like slush. Alrighty, back to the airplanes then. Embraer 190 arriving from Teesside or Darlington. Embraer 190, I already said that. KLM flight 1534. I am in dire need of caffeine. Flight time 48 minutes. The airplane 14 years old. First flight January 2010. Let's see. Well, we haven't missed on a lot of big jets during the snow sweep. That's the silver lining. It has been mostly narrow bodies so far. The ducks are still very much in the water over there. How many are there now? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Showing their ass. 7, 8, 9. Harry as well over there. And another E2 Embraer. This is KLM flight 1342 arriving from Billund. Oh. Flight time of this airplane thus far on this flight 49 minutes. The airplane itself is a year old, celebrated its first birthday this month, began flying in January 2023. Does look like there's a bit more of snow on this side. It looks like they are producing a bit more what do you call it? Yo, Roadhog, good afternoon. Just got home. Nice to catch a bit of this stream live. Nice to see you on the stream again, mate. Hope all is well. Now, not sure how much longer I am going to stream today. I had the intention of sticking around another hour after the A380. Hopefully it's going to be a bit more interesting than just 737s and Embraers. It usually gets a little slow after the A380. If you take a good look at the nose, you will see this is the one airplane in the fleet that still has the old standard livery of KLM with the straight line between the white and blue. Just this one. Two contrails coming together. Let's have another. Wow, this is just too pixelated. I'm almost in the top end of the 400 digital zoom. Did not go to 800, that is just unusable. Don't know why they would put such a feature on a camera when it makes no sense. Then again, when you live in the city, owning a Ferrari also makes no sense. And yet you still see it sometimes. Oh, I'm also hearing something pass by a bit closer by. Not sure if I can pick it up. Yeah, there it is. Oh. That one is really flying over. Oh. Is that an Airbus? I think it is Lufthansa, but I'm not 100% sure. Quite in the zenith, and that makes it a bit difficult to follow, as you guys just now noticed. Also noticing a few more clouds now north of me. This is something that we did not see before yet. And let's see. Ah, Wolfie also thankfully made it. Good to see you, mate. Now, this is Air France. Flight 1640, arriving from Paris, Charles de Gaulle. 45 minutes of flight time. 14-year-old airplane, first flight November 2009. Guys can notice that the wind is picking up again a little bit. Now, if you just tuned in and you're wondering why is there no traffic going to Polderbaan, the reason is the runway is getting snowed, de-iced. They have gone back and forth now, completely almost. I think they are going to leave the runway pretty soon, and I'm expecting traffic to Polderbaan to resume pretty soon. Is there traffic already assigned to Polderbaan? Did anyone have a look on Omgevingsinfo Schiphol, and has anybody seen airplanes being assigned to Polderbaan already? Hey, Ricardo says, I am off. See you on the next one. Tot de volgende, Ricardo. Thank you for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day. Right, so they are now vacating the runway once again. That is good news. Means that traffic will be coming to Polderbaan again soon. I'm not sure which one is going to be the first. Won't be long before we are going to see the next airplane to Polderbaan. I think the ones now approaching are still going to the center runway. This one is Lufthansa flight 2304, arriving from Munich. Oh, and that is the wrong airplane I'm clicking on. This is the right one. Airbus A319. Flight time 1 hour and 6 minutes. The airplane is 25 years old already. It is a millennial. The first flight of this airplane was in August 1998. again, zooming out. Just to show you a bit of perspective, how far away the airplane actually is. Next up, Turkish Airlines, flight 1957, arriving from Istanbul, Turkey. This airplane has been flying for 3 hours and 3 minutes to get from Istanbul to Amsterdam. That is par for the course. That is about 3 hours normally speaking. And so too it is today. You might also pick up on the cry of a seagull. It's as if we're at the beach. Welcome to Amsterdam Beach. Plane spawning from the beach. The airplane is 8 years old. The one we're now looking at, first flight was in November 2015. Oh, I think they might also still be doing a de-icing of the taxiway, and maybe that is why traffic is still going to the center runway. See if we can see that. So looks like they're still very much doing the icing over there, where the airplanes also need to pass to taxi back to the main platform area. The windsock in the meantime definitely a bit more erect. If you hadn't noticed yet, the wind has picked up a little bit from the southwest still. Anton says, greetings from Vienna. Aren't you cold out there with the wind? Well, it is getting a bit more chilly, definitely. But I am very well layered and I have heated gloves and a hand warmer, so the vital bits of my body are still nice, comfy and warm. Oh. Let's see, another Embraer 190 arrival from Cardiff, KLM flight 1060. Flight time for 53 minutes. The airplane 12 years old, first flight January 2012. (400x digital zoom). Overkill already, let alone 800 times. All right, was that your daughter on board that Turkish airplane, Emirates? In that case, she did land safely. You can be rest assured. Right, now let's see. Hey Infinity, also back in the chat, good to see you mate. 737s, Embraer 190. It's all a bunch of narrow bodies that is coming in, and by the looks of it, everything thus far going to the center runway. Is that the case? Also for the airplanes now approaching from the southwest, just having a quick look myself. because I think it might get a little boring otherwise. Let's see, all the airplanes now flying in the vicinity of The Hague are also assigned Zwanenburgbaan. I'm thinking about wrapping up, folks. I think it is still a bit longer than I had hoped for that the Polderbaan is going to reopen, which means that all the while all the traffic that is approaching will be landing on runway center. Everything that I see on flight radar so far in the vicinity is also a bunch of 737s and Embraers. Not the most exciting airplanes in my opinion, so I'm thinking maybe call it a day, go back out hopefully tomorrow if the weather will allow me to. Another airplane that is passing really close by, but still a little bit south of me. Looks like it is moving from south east to northwest. Very much a Frankfurt to the United States route. And again, I look at the wing shape and I'm inclined to say it is a Dreamliner. Last time I called it a Dreamliner, it turned out to be an A330. Time to zoom out, see what it is. Someone in the chat probably already mentioned it. Not yet, not yet. Well, I'll see it soon enough. However, I think I am going to wrap it up, folks, because looking at what is going on right now, it's not very exciting and I don't want to bore you, and I think we all have better things to do instead. Looking at the ducks, for the final shot, I'm going to say a big thank you to all of you for joining me here today. I had a wonderful time and I hope the same goes for you. Thanks to everyone who super chatted, super stickered, super liked and become a member, donated memberships, or maybe purchased something from the merch store. Thank you all so much. Your support means the world to me. The channel wouldn't be anything without you guys, and you guys make the channel what it is and has become. Thank you all so much, and thank you also to the moderators for once again keeping the chat accessible and friendly. You guys rock, and I am looking forward to seeing you all on the next one. Hopefully tomorrow, weather permitting, obviously, but I think we should be good, but you never know over here in the Netherlands. Hopefully I will see you then. If not, maybe later in the weekend. I will see you all soon. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ta!